if you've ever held an event, the minute you announce it, you're going to do early bird pricing, you're going to get a decent amount of sales. Your instant buyers, your people that are like, oh, I got to get it, are going to buy. And then it drops off all the way up to like a couple weeks before the event, because then the rest of your buyers buy last minute. Selling something that gives them a way to consume something right now fixes part of that problem. The other piece to this that I want to, like you said it, well, they might buy something out here, but then they're not going to show up to the event. We've seen event show up rates drop off. If it's a virtual event right now, 55 to 60% show up rates are the standard. If you're running a live event, it's usually around 80% are your show ups. We've been able to move that number for live events to over 95%, for virtual events around the 90% range. And the way that you do this is you have to think about the event coming up. If they bought the ticket 3 or 4 months beforehand, one of the main objections that you raised is, I don't know where I'm going to be in my journey. I know I have this pain point right now, but I might change a little bit. I might be involved in somebody else's world. I might have bought your stuff, but then I got seduced by person over here, and now I'm kind of going this way. So how do you maximize attendees? There's 3 things that I'm going to give you. Before I do that, though, I want to touch on one piece, and it'll make sense. The reason that you use a workshop, a webinar, or challenge, either through JV or cold traffic ads, is because you're growing your list. You now have taken one of the other client that I worked with, the one that we did the breathing exercise with. Through doing this process, we grew his list by more than 15,000. That's bigger than most people's lists to even start. What happens when they're on your list? They're going to start seeing your emails. I know everyone's like, I don't know if email really works. You also, now you start retargeting them. You retarget them. I'm going to give you the strategy for retargeting. You retarget on Facebook to show them ads to your event. If they've bought the ticket, you want to show ads of specific pain points being overcome and success stories. We do 4 different ads for retargeting. One of them is success stories, customer testimonials, but not the generic ones that, oh my goodness, this was amazing. Specific pain point. Steve, Rudy, whoever the person is, helped me solve that problem. This was the outcome that I've got. You want those in written and in video, retargeted. You want your story written, retargeted, or sorry, written in video, retargeted. How I earned or learned what you're going to get at the event, how I've helped support people like you that were getting started, that bought a course and got stuck, and then the outcomes that they got. Those are 2 of them. The other 2 are a little bit more complicated, but you want to run those because that mixed with some networking events, 1-hour networking, virtual coffee, meetups leading up to the event does 2 things. You're going to love this one because you're in sales. What's the number one? You might not say it's number one, but what helps a salesperson make the sale when somebody is at the event for a high ticket product?
What's the number one thing that helps the salesperson make the sale? Well, that's kind of a loaded question.
Yeah,
And
putting you on the spot.
Based off of my experience, I got plenty to say about that, but I don't feel on the spot at all. But I would say fundamentally it comes down to, there's only one thing. Gosh, I would say that one thing is the identity that the attendee has and whether or not he identifies himself as someone who would invest in the program and helping them make that identity shift. So I know that's the most powerful force inside of every human being, is their desire to be congruent with our identity. And I would say, in addition to that, I don't want to say second to that, but in addition to that, it's trust. People do business those that they trust, know, like, and trust. And having a transference of that trust and authority from the event host to the salesperson, specifically we're referring to what helps the salesperson.
So that your answer is perfect on both pieces, because it is true. You have to offer that huge identity shift and they have to want it. And then the know, like, trust factor. If I go to an event and I'm thinking about buying something, I see the pitch on day 2 and I'm leaning forward And then I click that button for a call and I show up and it's the first time I've met the salesperson. Even if the salesperson is great at establishing rapport, it's a 50-50 shot probably. If you put your salespeople in a networking event 2 months before the event, a month before the event, and then the salesperson texts them 2 or 3 times the month leading up to the event, you're going to have amazing show up rates. And the pitch just happened. You've got Joe over here that Rudy has a relationship with, and Joe knows this is the right program. Rudy knows that it's the right fit for him because he's talked to him. If you send him a text that says, hey, Joe, did you get to see that presentation? Joe's like, yeah. Just wondering what hit you the hardest there. It opens up the door for a sales conversation. I like to call it like a slippery slope versus Joe having to reach out and push a button and book a call. It raises sales. So wrapping all of this into filling the event, they've either signed up for a workshop, webinar, or challenge. They haven't bought a ticket. Now they start seeing retargeting ads. They're getting to trust you. They lean in and they buy something because you can sell that way. Then they come to one of these networking events. If they've bought the course out here with the ticket and they show up to a networking event, they start to get to know their salesperson. The biggest challenge that we have with AI and all the content that's being spit out right now is people are lacking trust. If you build that up leading up to the event, you will have a better show up rate and a much better close rate. I know we just unpacked a whole lot. I go pretty deep into this, into the book, but it's really just comes down to how you think about the strategy. It's not as simple as it used to be. Rent an event space, put some stuff out there, sell some tickets, put people in the room, and they're all ready to buy. Now everybody's been to an event. They've all seen a $25,000 or $50,000 pitch. They're looking for proof before they buy.